Hi YouTube, welcome to the 25th video on the Land Rover. This is the last video where I work on the Land Rover without its bulkhead. Subsequent videos show progress on the bulkhead and hopefully fitting it. So in this one I'm doing the brake lines, well, among other things I'm fitting all of that stuff I've cleaned up. Brake lines first. This is the joint below the bulkhead where the line comes down, a single line system this one, it's an older Series 3. The brake line comes down from the master cylinder and splits three ways. Two go forward. One crosses the chassis and then goes forward, and the other just goes straight forward to the front wheels, and then a single line goes back to the rear axle and serves both back brakes. So this is the second of the front lines. You can see the two front lines there now in the lower left shot, and I'm now fitting the rear line, which is a fairly straight route really. It goes a little kink in it to get it towards the chassis, and then a little kink later on to get it up towards the bracket where that line meets the flexi hose. So that's it, front left line, and then it goes under the cross member. Front right line, which follows the chassis up. I'm hoping nothing fouls on it. I don't actually know the exact routing, so hopefully these are pretty close to original. And then there's the rear line, which serves both back brakes, and you can see it going into the flexi joint here and onto the axle. So the next thing is the exhaust. I had a critical look at this, and really, the owner's getting a bit despondent about how much this is costing. So the first two of the three sections, while they look rusty, of course, are in actually very, very good shape. So I'm going to reuse those and just get a new back box. So firstly it'll look fresh, but lastly the back box was pretty crusty as well. So with a bit of gun gum, this can go straight onto the manifold now. You can see one of the bolts in the manifold is not a stud anymore. I had to drill that one out, so that was replaced with a little bolt there. That was relatively simple. Goes over the cross member there with the gearboxes, and now I'm putting some gun gum on it to attach the rear section, the middle section of exhaust. Again, all pretty straightforward really. And then you'll see there's a little mount which holds the back end of that mid-section of pipe. Here it is now going onto the chassis. This whole kit came from Parex, nice and cheap, and actually looks fairly well made really. And then there's the back box going on. So there's new gaskets and new bolts everywhere really, and then that bracket mounts to the chassis again. That is quite satisfying work to have done really. All of this is very satisfying compared to grinding and painting. Oh, this is a joy to work on, So this is the lower bracket, or the lower is a bell crank technically for the handbrake, which translates the vertical movement of the first lever into horizontal and then into that drum brake. And then on goes the lever. That's got it, the handbrake all done. Complete with slightly rusty spring. But all functional now. Lovely. Next is the dipstick. Pretty quick and simple job, but I haven't put any oil in this engine until this point, so dipstick can go on. Face the tube forward initially. I don't know if that's correct, but it can always be altered later when the wing is fitted. So that's tightened down, and then the dipstick put in place. Again, very satisfying to have all this done. It's the little tick at the end, it's lovely. Nice steering relay, and I was very surprised to find it just slotted in. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing really, but it went in there nice and easy, so hopefully the lower retainer will hold it nicely and go tight. New bolts for that, new bolts for the lower retainer. I'm starting to use my power tools now to get these things done nice and quick. Doesn't it make a difference? There's the arm going on, the lower arm already on, as you can see. I had to look up, you've got to get these relative angles. It's all basically 90 degrees, but it's close to 90 degrees anyway. So there's a second of these heavy duty steering arms going on. That's been sat on the side for months, so very satisfying to finally have it on. And the last steering arm, which goes from the steering relay to the steering box, will come on later. I have actually painted it already, but I'll fit that later when the steering box goes on. And then, very satisfying again, on with the prop shafts. So of course there's 16 bolts in total to do here. So I'm using my impact wrench to, what's it called, impact gun, impact wrench? I can't remember. They're not very powerful one anyway, just to wind the nuts up. And then I get the torque on those by hand afterwards with the spanner. Same again, you can see here I'm using my little tool to wind them up. Because they're nylogs, it takes forever, so this tool does save a lot of time. And then you can see I'm finishing off with the spanner's look, so I know roughly what the torque is and whether it's appropriate for prop shafts or not. Now, while making the prop shafts or assembling them, and while doing lots of other work on the thing, you do chip paint off. So I'm being very diligent here and just with a brush popping some paint on all those areas where it hasn't worked. And here it is, folks, a stop motion of the engine turning and the wheels turning. That completes the work on the chassis up until the point where I can fit the bulkhead. So I'm really pleased those 3 videos have got all that work finished, and the next video I will start looking at fitting the bulkhead, making it fit the chassis in the correct position, and getting on with preparing it and fitting it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.